How does HUD enforce the Fair Housing Act for landlords? Imagine a world where everyone has an equal shot at finding a place to call home. That's what the Fair Housing Act aims to do. But how does the government make sure landlords follow these rules? Let's break it down. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, is the main agency responsible for enforcing the Fair Housing Act. They do this by investigating complaints from people who believe they have been treated unfairly when trying to rent or buy a home. If someone feels they were discriminated against because of their race, religion, national origin, sex, disability, or family status, they can file a complaint with HUD. Once a complaint is filed, HUD begins an investigation. They look into the details to see if there is enough evidence to suggest discrimination happened. This process usually takes about 100 days. If HUD finds enough evidence, they issue a document called a charge of discrimination. This can lead to a formal hearing or even a court case. If they do not find enough evidence, the complaint is dismissed. HUD also uses special testers who act like regular renters or buyers. These testers visit rental properties and see if landlords treat people differently based on protected characteristics. They check if landlords are fair during phone calls, in-person visits, or when listing properties online. These tests help HUD catch unfair practices that might not be obvious. In addition, HUD works with state and local agencies that enforce fair housing laws. These agencies investigate complaints and have to follow strict rules about how quickly they act. They are required to finish investigations within 100 days unless there are good reasons for delays. HUD also makes sure landlords provide reasonable accommodations for tenants with disabilities. If a tenant requests an exception to a rule, like having a service animal or extra help, landlords must consider it. Not doing so can lead to enforcement actions. While HUD has the power to enforce these laws, their effectiveness can vary. Sometimes complaints are not prioritized or enforcement efforts are limited. Still, HUD remains the main federal body making sure landlords follow fair housing laws. For landlords and property managers, understanding how HUD enforces these rules is key. It means that discriminatory practices can be investigated through complaints or testing. If a landlord ignores fair housing laws, they could face legal consequences. So, treating all applicants and tenants fairly and responding properly to accommodation requests is the best way to stay compliant.